What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the StayWeighedIn podcast. I'm joined by my co-host Sugar Ray. How you doing?
Listen, man, battling through. Nice weekend of boxing. Shout out Shakur. Shout out.
Bam Rodriguez.
Guys. Shout out Bam Rodriguez. But we're looking forward.
We're looking forward, and with that, we're looking forward into the heavyweight division. It's not the fight that we want because there's only one real main fight, but we are going to preview Joe Joyce versus Zhilei Zang. And the first question I'm going to go to you when it comes to this fight is: this a slippery fight for Joyce, considering the momentum that he's got currently?
It is, especially given the fact that I think Zhang's last fight against Hrgović, people thought that Zhang won. So, especially with the history of Hrgović and Joyce, that could have been a better situation of both of them being Olympians. And now that Tony Oka's gone on this slide, it could have been revenge tour for the Olympians against Hrgović. But Hrgović is also in a particular scenario where he is the mandatory for the IBF. I believe Dubois is the mandatory for the WBO or WBA.
I think it's WBA.
Yeah, and Joyce is the mandatory for WBO. So taking this fight is a showcase fight, but it's a scary showcase fight because this is a showcase fight against a live wire. And I feel like this should be the fight to get Joyce's name out there more without it being behind a paywall like his fight against Joseph Parker was, which I think was a big disservice to Joyce. So now, if he gets through Zhang, that is a big and an impressive performance like he normally puts on. It'll just be a big statement. And I hope that if he does get past Zhang, do not take no more fights until you can get a title shot because he's older. His style takes a lot of damage. And if you want that title shot, you don't want to be cooked goods before you even get to the buffet.
So it's interesting you say that because I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I do think it's a lot more slippery of a fight than people are giving it credit for. Similar to when Dubois fought Joyce. Dubois was the favorite going into it, and then Joyce came out. And now, if you look at it, Dubois is now potentially fighting Usyk for the belts as well. I was going to ask you this: if the Joshua fight popped up, would you take that, or would you still wait out for Usyk?
You take the Joshua fight. That is life-changing money. Absolute life-changing money. Take the Joshua fight. Especially life-changing money, notoriety, and where Joshua is in his career right now, that is the best time to take it. That's as good as a title shot, in my opinion. Because you get that name, you get that rub, as they say in wrestling. And I just feel like if I'm AJ, I don't take that fight anyway. There's no point in AJ taking that fight right now. So for me, Joe Joyce just needs to put the pressure on. If he wins, he needs to put the pressure on Frank Warren to get him a title shot after this. Because the whole Fury and Usyk mess is ridiculous. And I feel like Usyk might drop the belt soon because all these mandatories coming up against killers. What's the point? And then Fury's mandatory might be Wilder again, which is the most disgusting stuff I've seen from a boxing organization ever. Actually, it isn't, but it's just nasty work, man. Everything is just nasty about the heavyweight division, man.
I was going to say that for Zhang himself going into this, coming off the loss that he should have won, or could potentially have won as well, is he looking to potentially upset the cards and then throw his hat into the mix? And is there a potential chance that he could do that?
Oh, listen, Zhang is looking to put absolute spanner in the works. Absolute spanner in the works. And there was a lot of people that argued that he won his last fight. And like I said, Joe Joyce is in a mandatory position. I don't know how it works because, like I said, boxing organizations can move mad. But potentially, Zhang could get that number one spot if he beats Joyce. And then he's going to put the pressure on Usyk to fight him. So I feel like Top Rank / Frank Warren have the ball in their court for the heavyweight titles. And if they're not careful, they're going to drop it in a way that's going to be catastrophic. So it'll be interesting to see because I'm sure if Usyk doesn't fight Fury, or if they don't agree a date soon, they're going to have to face mandatories. Usyk's gonna have to face Dubois, who I feel like he should handily beat Dubois. Then Usyk's gonna have Hrgovic on the rise, and I'm sure he doesn't want to keep on paying him step aside money. And then you're potentially gonna have the winner of this fight this upcoming Saturday as mandatory as well. And so Fury just needs to hurry up and back up his ideas because no one ain't trying to see him against Wilder 4.
I was just gonna say, so if you're Usyk looking into it, is it just better at a certain point to scrap this fight completely with Fury? Because, like I said, there's only so much step aside money you can be paying and stuff like that to try to make this fight. So, is there potential that if the pressure gets put onto Usyk to make or to have the mandatories fight him, that he could just turn around and say, I'm dropping the belts. Here you go. You guys decide it between yourselves."
Yeah, I honestly believe that. I believe that it'll just be a case of effort. Listen, I tried to unify the division, and there's a common factor, whether it was AJ trying to do it or whether it was Usyk trying to do it. A common factor as to why there hasn't been an undisputed champion, and it's because of that WBC title holder. I'm not going to call him out by name. I can't be asked.
So I was just going to say that just quickly. I know this fight in itself, it may not necessarily have the headline build or anything of the sort, but what can fans look out for that should have them tuning in and wanting to watch this fight?
This is just a showcase fight of the Juggernaut, the most awkward heavyweight personality who just happens to steamroll fighters. And I think it's becoming endearing, the fact that he can't trash talk or the fact he's so horrible at it.
You've seen the video, haven't you?
Because it's funny because it's like he's actually trying so hard, but it's just not him. But I think I mentioned this before with Leon, like we need to embrace people that's not trash talkers. Like it can't be every day. Like I need to hear someone being like, yeah, I'm this, I'm that. Sometimes it's like just I like to see intensity in fighters, and I don't understand why intensity can't sell just as much as trash talking. Like it's stupid because sometimes I even see, this is random like digression, but I saw Lawal against Chamberlain at a boxer press conference at cruiserweight, and then people were saying, some people in the comments were just like, this is just fake beef to get numbers. And I said, do people not realize that these people are competitors? These people legitimately feel it's not a case of like, I hate you or stuff. They're just like, I am the best and I will knock you out. Yeah. What is fake about that? There's nothing fake about that. I'm competitive. I want to knock you out. The same way you see with Shakur Stevenson saying to Devin Haney, listen, I'm coming for you. Like, it's not trash talk. It's me being competitive. And I feel like we're in a world where it's almost like, because people have fallen for the okidoke, or as Nick Diaz used to call it, wolf tickets, that they can't tell the difference between fake beef and being competitive. So now when someone feels competitive or is intense, it's all like, it's fake beef. We don't want to tune into this anymore. And then the irony is, when there is fake beef, you lot fall for it again and complain that it's fake beef. Like, what? I don't know what people want now. People don't know what they want nowadays. And then I just feel like boxing promotion starts selling to the lowest denominator, and then it's a brutal cycle. So let's hope that Joe Joyce comes through this cycle in one way and stands his ground to get his title shot. And let's just hope that if the Undisputed don't happen this year, I don't care no more about the heavyweight division, I'll be honest.
I was going to say then, just before we wrap up, what would be a prediction from you in terms of this fight?
Joe Joyce should get him late stoppage or decision, Juggernaut way, just stand his ground, roll through him, put on the performance. Hopefully he doesn't take too much damage, because I think because he does. And listen, eventually your clock gets hit, so let's hope not. But should be a good showing, man. And then hopefully he gets on the mic and does something significant. You never know if the WBC title holder might be in the crowd, and because it is a Frank Warren show, and then Fury might hype him up, even though his dad's saying there's no money in fighting Joe Joyce, which I think is another duck. But
With that, we are going to wrap up today's episode of the StayWeighedIn podcast. As always, if you're enjoying the content, you know what to do. Drop a like, share, subscribe. Check some of our previous videos out. We did drop a video in regards to the UFC as well. So drop your comments on that as well. But as always, really appreciate you for jumping on. As always, guys, if you enjoy the content, like you mentioned, like, share, subscribe, and stay with it.
Love as always, people.